Hey guys, it's Bim Gang. I'm D.
And I'm Liv.
If you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe. While you're here, you might as well like everything, comment on everything, and share. Right now, we're about to react to 30 movies that are going to blow everyone away in 2017. Now, we like to go to the movies a lot. We love a lot of action movies. Like, what would you recommend? I'll say like Fast and the Furious series.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Get out of my head.
What else? What other movies are you looking forward to? Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Looking forward to that. What else?
That movie Arrived. That comes out this year?
This year?
Next
2017.
year. I think next
Well,
year.
anyway, we're going to go through 30 movies, so let's check it out.
So 2016 was an epic year for movies. It almost feels like a warm-up when you look at the long list of blockbuster films already on the release calendar for 2017. It's never too early to get excited about taking a trip to the theatre, so we've lined up the biggest upcoming releases, and whether you're into action, comedy, horror, or drama, there's something here for everyone. Resident Evil, the final chapter. 5 years after Resident Evil Retribution, Mila Jovovich returns to close out the sci-fi horror franchise she's led for more than a decade, with nearly $1 billion in worldwide grosses, despite the long lapse between sequels. The 6th installment will reportedly pick up where Retribution left off, while following director Paul W.S. Anderson's mandate to come full circle with the saga of a dystopian future in which a corporation-created virus has unleashed a zombie plague. John Wick, Chapter 2. After everything he went through in the first movie, what could possibly convince John Wick to come out of retirement? Dog lovers will be relieved to hear it isn't the death of another pooch that gets his guns blazing in John Wick Chapter 2. This time, one of John's old buddies is in the middle of a scheme to topple an assassin's guild, and he needs backup. The Lego Batman movie. Not long ago, the idea of a movie based on Legos seemed too silly for words. But then the Lego movie racked up nearly $470 million while making us all root for plastic bricks and play Everything is Awesome on endless repeat.
Oh my gosh, I love this song!
Everything is awesome.
Yeah, this looks like...
Taking the hint, Warner Brothers is diving right in with a universe of Lego-derived films, starting with this spin-off, which brings back Will Arnett as Gotham's caped crusader. The Great Wall. Zhang Yimou's sprawling historical fantasy epic, The Great Wall, has an intriguing, albeit a little ridiculous idea. The Great Wall of China was built to keep out more than just unwanted human neighbors. From everything we've seen so far, The Great Wall will at least be a spectacular showcase of effects-heavy cinematography. Logan. Hugh Jackman has played Wolverine for so long that it's nearly impossible to imagine anyone else in the role. Soon, 20th Century Fox will need to figure out who will be the next actor to play the part. But first, Jackman's getting his swan song with a third standalone Wolverine feature. The film's plot draws from Marvel's Old Man Logan comic books about an alternate future version of the nearly ageless hero. The film will also feature the return of Patrick Stewart's Professor X, adding yet another layer of closure for longtime fans of the franchise. Kong, Skull Island. On March 10, 2017, the Big Gorilla returns with Kong, Skull Island. This 70s set trip into the Kong mythos gives viewers the biggest version of the character they've ever seen, which is a good thing for Kong, because after Skull Island finishes its theatrical run, the studio is planning to pit him against Godzilla in a monster mashup for the ages. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh yeah, that's what I remember.
Beauty and the Beast.
This looks
I
good.
want to see
Like
this.
Disney's earlier
They just
Beauty,
played the,
this version
the
draws
original
inspiration from the classic fairy tale about a prince,
They gonna make
played
so
here
much
by
money off
Dan
this damn
Stevens, who's
I'm
cursed
gonna
with
see
a
this.
grotesque
Oh, are you?
appearance.
Singing along.
Yet he
I know all
finds
the
love
songs.
with a pure-hearted maiden played by Emma Watson, who's imprisoned in his castle after her father
That
offers her
beast.
up in a deal to spare his own life. Like a lot of stories from the era, it's pretty dark. But Disney's animated adaptation put a family-friendly spin on it with music and humor, and we can expect the same here. Plus, a cast that includes Ewan McGregor and Sir Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. The forthcoming Power Rangers isn't the first movie to capitalize on the mighty
it's
childish
childish, but I
90s
think I wanna see
craze,
it.
of course.
Yeah, 'cause it's our
However,
era.
director
This is
Dean
like-
Israelite's
Yeah.
take on the
Did
story
you see the
offers a
first
much
one?
more serious and
I've
emotionally
seen a few.
charged account of how these misfit teens managed to become a
My favorite
band
one
of
was when,
unlikely world saviors, battling back the
They
forces
were
of
like
evil.
in a jungle
If
fighting.
the
I forgot
film
what
does
that
manage
was.
to renew
That's the first
even a
one?
little bit of the
I
Power
remember
Rangers
that one was
frenzy
pretty
the
good, too.
series
It wasn't
enjoyed
cheesy.
in the 90s,
Yeah.
it's going to be massive. Ghost in the Shell. Rupert Sanders'
Oh, yeah.
adaptation of the popular
Oh, yeah.
Ghost in the Shell manga series
It
of
looks
the
like
same
they just
name.
snatch
It's
the people
expected
and
to
they
be
crawl
a
back.
visual
That's right here.
spectacular
You were like,
that
look at all
chronicles
the-
an
Oh,
epic
I'm
chase
seeing this
between a
shit. Look at-
cyborg policewoman
Look at
and
that
a
shit right
dangerous
there.
hacker.
Made me want
It
to see it.
promises to offer the same kind of gnarly
Oh, yeah,
effects
now-
and existential futurism that captivated audiences in films like The Matrix. Scarlett Johansson's own turn in Lucy and The Fifth Element. Sign us up. The Fate of the Furious. According to
I don't know how
the
this is
official
gonna be
synopsis,
without,
the new sequel in this
our guy
long-running
in it.
franchise titled The Fate of the Furious finds
Tupac
Vin
is
Diesel's
present.
Dom
Tupac's
lured
present.
back into the world of crime he can't seem to escape,
Yeah.
and a betrayal of those closest to him by a mysterious woman played by the always
She's a great
amazing
actress.
Charlize
She's
Theron.
always
Listen
a villain.
carefully, and under the
great.
roar
She
of
has
the
no
motors,
good
you can hear the box office cash registers ringing. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2.
Yes.
Initially, it seemed like a hilariously dumb idea for Marvel to turn a relatively obscure comic about a ragtag team of intergalactic do-gooders whose ranks included a raccoon-like
Oh, look at
creature
the little
and
one.
an alien resembling a
Little
sentient tree into a $200
$200
million
million.
movie. Nearly
Ooh,
$775 million in box office
Look how
receipts
much
later,
money they got.
Guardians of the
That was a good
Galaxy
ass
could be
movie.
the
Yeah.
start of an Avengers-style franchise for this studio. While we don't have many details regarding what they'll be up to this time around, it's pretty much a
No.
given that it'll be tons of fun.
Look at him.
Nobody has any tape. Not a single person has tape. You have an atomic bomb in your bag. If anybody's gonna have tape, it's you. I have to do everything. You are wasting a lot of time.
Really?
Alien Covenant. Fans who feel Prometheus didn't tie into the
Prometheus.
Alien film
That's the
strongly
movie we were
enough
talking about
might be
today.
better served by Alien
The cover.
Covenant, which brings back
Is this
Michael
linked with-
Fassbender and Numa
Yeah.
Rapace
Yeah.
to show what happens
There you go.
after they hijack an ancient
is.
spacecraft in order to venture to the homeworld of
So
the
this is a
mysterious
continuation of
engineers and
Prometheus.
halt their plans for
Seems
humanity.
like
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men
Yeah.
Tell No Tales. Pre-production
I
of
never
the
kept
fifth
up with
installment
this.
in the
Yeah, I
Pirates
think
of the
that's the
Caribbean
first two.
saga started back when the previous
Amazing.
sequel, 2011's On
I
Stranger
think
Tides,
like 3
was
or
on its way to theaters, and its path through development has been strewn with script difficulties and budget-induced delays. Still, any new chapter in a franchise that's grossed nearly $4 billion counts as a
$4 billion.
promising development for the studio, and
This was about
Disney
when I was in,
has
like,
stood by while
school.
producer Jerry
High school,
Bruckheimer
grade.
steered Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales to its destination. Wonder Woman.
Yep.
After being introduced to audiences in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman will get her own standalone feature, which is rumored to be the first installment in a period piece trilogy that will take audiences from the 1920s to the present day. Whatever actually happens in the movie, it's a long overdue victory for comics fans who've waited years for the
I'm excited to see
Amazonian
this.
warrior to get a shot at her own big screen franchise. World
Okay.
War Z 2.
2?
The first World
Oh,
War
shit.
Z turned out to
They
be
didn't end it right,
surprisingly
so yeah,
entertaining,
I figured
as
it
well
should be
as extremely
A good
commercially
continuation
successful.
since they got the
That
end
brings
of it
us
now.
to
Remember
the
when I didn't even know
inevitable
what
sequel,
disease-
World War Z 2,
I didn't
in
know
which
it
Brad
was
Pitt
zombie.
returns to battle the zombie
didn't-
plague.
Okay.
We don't know much about the plot at this point, but director Juan Antonio Bayona will be working from a screenplay by Stephen Knight, whose varied list of credits includes the chess drama Pawn Sacrifice and Bradley Cooper's Burnt. Cars 3.
Okay.
Rev up your engines, kids, because Lightning
We gonna
McQueen
take-
is
we can take him
back
to the
in
movies
high-speed
again.
action in Disney Pixar's Cars 3. The 3D animated adventure, which follows the events of 2006's Cars and 2011's Cars 2, will follow McQueen on his journey to catch up with a new generation of speedsters and feature the return of some fan favorites like Mater,
Yeah.
Sally Carrera, and Ramon. Transformers: The Last Night. Aside from Mark
I hope
Wahlberg
it's
being
not the
back
last
as the
one.
saga's current human star,
I doubt
The
it.
Last Night
really
looks
good.
like it'll plunge viewers into a
They always
time-traveling
taking
plot
somebody's
that
job.
includes King Arthur and an alternate
Oh.
history in which Nazis won World War II. Plus plenty of action and lots of lead-ins to the assortment of spin-off films the studios plan.
Lambo.
Despicable
I like
Me 3. Despicable Me has grown into an impressively adaptable franchise for Universal.
Really?
Details are
What the
still
fuck?
very sketchy regarding this third installment, but we can safely assume Steve Carell will be back as the nefarious
He's hilarious.
but kinda cuddly Gru. And we know he'll be working from a script written by Cinco Paul and Ken Dario, who collaborated on the first two films. SpiderMan Homecoming. This new Spidey
Okay.
reboot finds
This is
Tom
a new
Holland
person, too.
starring as the web slinger in a
It's not the same
standalone
kid.
film after wowing
It's the
most
audiences
recent
with his debut in Marvel's Captain America
American,
Civil War.
that guy.
John Watts,
Oh.
who helmed the creepy, low-budget Kevin Bacon thriller
They
Cop
switched
Car,
too often.
is on board as director for a storyline that features Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark playing mentor to young Spider-Man in his battle against the Vulture, played by the Birdman himself, Michael Keaton. War for the Planet of the
Yeah.
Apes. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes director Matt Reeves
Okay.
returns for
Why
his
so
follow-up,
serious?
which picks up from Dawn's final scene, a grim foreshadowing of the major conflict brewing between genetically enhanced
This is so
primates
weird
and the
seeing the
human
one
population decimated by the simian flu virus. Reeves, who co-wrote the script, is keeping storyline details under wraps, but says the events depicted in War for the Planet of the Apes sees Caesar achieving mythic status. That can only mean one thing: catchy songs.
Yes, you finally made a monkey out of me.
Dunkirk. After a decade spent in the sci-fi fantasy
see
realm,
anything about this.
writer-director Christopher Nolan has put his considerable talents to work on a historical drama about a World War II battle. Dunkirk reunites Nolan with a pair of his Dark Knight and Inception stars, Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy, and early footage harkens back to the heart-pounding beachfront battle imagery in the legendary opening scene from Saving Private Ryan. Nolan's attention to detail on the partial IMAX production, including shooting on the site of the real-life events that inspired it, will no doubt serve his tale of heroism
Looks better
and
than Red
survival
Tails.
well. The Dark Tower. Of all the adaptations Stephen King's written works have produced, The Dark Tower has to be the most anticipated. The sci-fi western horror film will follow
She
the
was there
events
on
of
set.
King's prolific Dark Tower book series, presenting the apocalyptic adventure of an 11-year-old boy named Jake Chambers as he accidentally uncovers the mid-world dimension and joins up with Roland Duchesne, played by Idris Elba. The two set off to find the Dark Tower before the Man in Black, played by Matthew McConaughey, can stop Roland from saving his dimension from certain destruction. Stephen King's fans are sure to turn up for this long overdue Hollywood treatment of the beloved series. It. The 1991 TV miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's It amassed a cult following, and Tim Curry's original performance as the town-terrorizing clown Pennywise has set a high bar for anyone to follow in the role. So when director Andy Muschietti revealed his new version of the character, now played by Bill Skarsgård, in a costume that could have easily been borrowed from a schoolgirl's dress-up chest, it's only natural that he faced a little blowback. There's still reason to believe this thing will be a hit though. There's tons of talent on board, including Skarsgård and Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things. And there were plenty of scenes from the book that were glossed over in the first adaptation. Blade Runner 2049. Blade Runner 2049 director Denis Villeneuve has a few big things going for him. Most importantly, the presence of original Blade Runner director Ridley Scott, who's producing and star Harrison Ford reprising his role as Rick Deckard. Ford's joined by an ensemble rounded out by Ryan Gosling, Robin Wright, and Jared Leto, all working from a script co-written from Blade Runner writer Hampton Fancher with Michael Green. Story details are a mystery, and whether the end result can stand up alongside the original obviously remains to be seen, but all the ingredients are here for a hell of a movie. Just keep Deckard away from the fridge. Kingsman, The Golden Circle. The plot details are still a little loose. Rumour has it the Kingsman British spy team will team up with their American equivalents after their headquarters are destroyed by a lethal foe. But who needs a synopsis when you've got a cast this intriguingly weird? Returning stars Taron Egerton, Mark Strong, and Sophie Cookson are joined by an eclectic ensemble that includes Channing Tatum, Halle Berry, Julianne Moore, Jeff Bridges, and Elton John?
No. He's a villain. Samuel L. Jackson was the last one.
Whatever happens in the Golden Circle, we're betting it won't be dull. Friday the 13th reboot. Between 1980 and 1989, the hockey masked slasher Jason Voorhees hacked his way through scores of screaming victims in 8 films. Although by the end of the decade, the franchise had started to teeter between stale and ridiculous. This latest overhaul arrives nearly a decade after the last reboot, which grossed nearly $100 million. Chances seem good it has to do with a guy in a hockey mask chopping kids to bits.
You want to see my new J-Town hockey mask?
I love this Simpsons.
Oh, sorry. What am I thinking?
Used to watch them all the time.
Saw Legacy.
Saw.
Composer Charlie Krause told The Hollywood Reporter that the 8th installment of the Saw franchise will be a reinvention of the series, offering a fresh take on the material that will establish a new storyline and new characters that can carry the saga into the future. Expect lots of blood, gore, and puppets involved in absolutely disgusting and terrifying acts.
Damn.
My tongue out.
What is this?
Hey, Dan!
Thor Ragnarok. In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is basically the end of the world and the death of the gods. So it goes without saying that, based on the title, Thor Ragnarok won't be a jolly good time for our hammer-wielding hero, although we can guess from his imminent participation in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War movies that he'll emerge relatively unscathed after the final act. Justice League. Director Zack Snyder is hard at work on his 3rd film in the DC Extended Universe, the superhero team-up film Justice League. The comic book throwdown ought to reunite Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, while also giving formal introductions to Aquaman, Cyborg, and the movie version of The Flash. While we don't yet have any idea what danger our team will face, we do know it'll be pretty serious. Star Wars Episode 8. This is Star Wars we're talking about. So the list of things we truly know about Episode 8 is awfully short. pretty much all we can tell you is that this installment follows the events of Episode 7 and advances the new trilogy, pitting the Resistance against the First Order led by Supreme Leader Snoke and his apprentice Kylo Ren. Oh, and another thing, it'll probably sell a couple of tickets.
We're home.
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all the other cool stuff we know you'll love.
Alright, well, we got a good list.
See you next time.